Once children feel comfortable, something subtle starts to happen. They don't jump into things right away. They don't suddenly become eager or outgoing, but they begin to watch. And that watching is important. Participation doesn't begin when a child raises their hand or joins a group. It begins when they start to think about whether they could be a part of whatever it is that's going on. And in this video, I want to talk about what adults can do to make participation feel possible, not required, not forced, but genuinely inviting. Because children don't participate just because we ask them to, they participate when it feels comfortable to try. So one thing you can try is you can treat watching as a valid form of participation. One of the biggest shifts that I made over the years was changing how I view children who watched instead of joined. For you at home, that can show up during play. It could show up during family activities or shared routines. Maybe a child hovers or they sit nearby or they watch quietly. So when adults treat watching as not participating, children feel pressure. But when watching is accepted, children can relax. I know that was how I felt when I was younger. I was on the quiet side and very observant, and that's where I was comfortable. So even though I wasn't directly involved in the things that were going on all the time, but I still had fun watching and seeing what was going on and how things were taking place and all of that. So the relaxed state is what eventually leads to engagement. So belonging grows when a child can think, I don't have to jump in to be allowed here. Sometimes it's best to offer invitations instead of instructions. So at home, and when I say at home, it could be anywhere. It could be with a play group. It could be at the park. Participation can shut down when adults move too quickly into the direction of come on, or just try, or you need to join. Over time, you will notice that invitations will open more doors than the instructions will. So an invitation sounds like, I'm going to start and you can join me if you want. Or something like, you can watch for a bit and I'll save a spot. So words like that lower the risk, and children are far more likely to participate when they feel that the choice is theirs. And this doesn't have to be like an all or nothing kind of thing. So for instance, a child might join for a minute, participate in one small way, or engage for a little bit and then step back. So when adults treat partial participation as success, children are more willing to try again the next time. At school, participation can sometimes feel like high stakes, because you have group time, you have activities with clear expectations, you have moments where everyone is watching, and sometimes you may have progress reports that need to be filled out. So I learned that participation increased when the entry points into that activity were lowered or were more relaxed. So that might mean allowing children to sit nearby without responding, or letting them hold materials without using them yet, or offering roles that don't put them in the spotlight. When the risk is lower, participation becomes possible. And like I mentioned before, I was a quiet, kind of reserved child. So one thing that can hinder participation is calling attention to who was or who is or who isn't participating. So even if it's positive calling out, that can still feel exposing. Children can participate more freely when they don't feel watched. So don't feel the need to acknowledge publicly or to comment on every action of engagement. Just allow it to unfold. So many of these participation barriers can come from environments where it may feel demanding. even if it's unintentionally. Inside the Character Toolkit Hub, the activities and structures are designed with multiple entry points. So children can observe, they can engage partially, or participate fully without any kind of pressure. So when participation is built into the design, adults don't have to work as hard to invite them in. And that's where belonging has room to grow. And that's where feeling comfortable and belonging has room to grow. When children feel comfortable enough to participate, another shift begins. So they start to care about the space. They notice how things run. They want to help, not because they're told to, but because they feel connected to it. So in the next video, we'll talk about what adults can do to help children want to contribute and how that deepens belonging even further. Participation isn't about confidence or personality. It's about whether the environment feels comfortable enough to step into it. When adults remove pressure and lower the risk, children begin to participate in ways that feel authentic. And that is the end of this video. Be sure to check out the Character Toolkit Hub in the comments, and I will see you in the next one.